That, of course, is California Governor Gavin Newsom. Thank you so much for being with us.
It's good. I got 4 kids. I'm not sure they could have done that, so I was nervous. It was wonderful.
Okay, let's talk about tonight.
Yeah.
You met Kamala Harris something like, I think, more than 20 years ago when you were both sworn in on the same day as mayor and AG of San Francisco, both of you respectively.
Yeah, we were friends even before that, so this is a surreal trip we've been on together.
What do you want to see so that the American people can know the Kamala Harris that you know?
Well, I mean, walking the halls, everyone said, I didn't know she worked at McDonald's. So it really does show it's not just a reintroduction. I mean, quite literally is an introduction. So I think she has that opportunity, number one. But number two, I think the most important thing, and I'll be candid with you as a surrogate out there on behalf of the Biden campaign, we were able to make, I think, a very compelling case for the success of the last 3.5 years of taming inflation and building an economy that's the envy of the world. The challenge was painting a compelling vision for the future. And what I hope to hear tonight is her compelling vision for the future, her ability to turn the proverbial page and build on what has successfully been done the last 3.5 years, but put her mark on that vision where others can feel included.
Okay, but so, and right on that front, and I should note to folks, they're playing a video here in the room, so it gives us a second, I think, to chat without having to step on the Pledge of Allegiance or anything. You've said earlier this week that you think Harris will use this speech to not just do the things that you're talking about here, paint a picture of who she is, paint a picture of her vision, but also of what the next 4 years would look like from a policy perspective here. Do you think that picture should have been painted by now, a month in, given the compressed timeline?
I mean, she barely, we haven't even finished the convention. We all, she may have gotten a heads-up call, a few of us did, from the President of the United States, that he dropped out just a matter of weeks ago. This has been a whirlwind for everyone. I mean, Karl Rove, I'm agreeing with Karl Rove, I thought was absolutely right, today's Wall Street Journal. Plenty of time to paint the policy details. But we also have the detailed understanding of where she is as part of the Biden-Harris administration. Over the course of the last 3 years as it relates to policy. So we have a foundation of understanding of where she's been, and now she has an opportunity to build on that. She did a little bit of that on affordability, on the issues of housing, which needs to be discussed more and more, and on the issues of prices.
I do think that the breaking news banner we should put up is Gavin Newsom and Karl Rove see eye to eye on an issue here. One of the things that you've done, along with, frankly, Pete Buttigieg, who referenced this the other night, was you've gone to some outlets that have been traditionally less than friendly to Democrats, and you've tried to make the case for Kamala Harris. Yeah. You've done that and you referred to yourself as a surrogate just now. That's what you've done in your position. How does she do that? Because she's coming under fire from the Trump campaign for not having gotten out there and taken some of those questions in those formal settings. Will she? Should she?
They'll make that decision on their own. I don't think the average person right now, folks that I'm walking into, not just here, but out on the streets, would think, boy, she really hasn't done that sit-down interview with fill in the blank. I mean, I think that's kind of a little bit of the punditry class. I think we're just talking amongst ourselves, and obviously Trump's going to make that case. He has to. Right now, he has no other case to make against her. He's flat-footed. He's spinning. He's flailing. I've never seen him for this long so unable to land a punch, let alone even figure out how to throw a punch. He's derivative of himself. He's becoming more and more unhinged. His advisors are now more publicly saying that, not just privately saying that. So, look, I think she's continued to do what she's done. That said, no one's naive of the energy that comes from this moment, the crescendo tonight, and the realities of the next 75 days.
Because you know this, vibes are not votes. You have to translate that momentum into actual, reality.
They are and they're not. I mean, because we talk about get out the vote. We talk about sort of the structural side of that and bus and how we reach out. But if you have to drag people to vote, that's not going to work. Right now, vibes are making people more interested, more engaged, more willing. There's a sense of spirit and pride. That doesn't happen with all due respect, policy details. That happens.
You're talking to a nerd here, just so you know.
I'm like an old DLC. The best politics is a better idea guy. But we've seen this in the past. It's momentum, it's directional, it's energy, it's passion, and that brings action. And so I think this is. The phones are lighting up. You've heard this, and Republicans have to acknowledge this. Look at the small dollar voting. We're finally winning online. We're finally waking up young kids that live online, that are paying a little bit more attention and seeing something in her they didn't see with Joe Biden. We're starting to see a different interest level, and if she can carry that, if she can capture that spirit, she can bottle that through hard-headed pragmatism and prosecuting the case against Trump, because all of us know this guy is more than capable of coming back with ferocity in the next days, weeks, certainly months.
So as it speaks to prosecuting that case both tonight and in the weeks to come here, how do you think she will rhetorically speak about him tonight? Because we've heard it run the gamut, right? From very sort of sweepy statements and a couple oblique references from Oprah to some pretty sharp stuff from former President Obama with the leaf blower comment, Hakeem Jeffries saying he's like a bad ex-boyfriend, the diminishment of former President Trump. Is she going to go there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know what to expect in that case. I mean, you can't do everything.
Have you talked to her this week? I mean,
I was trying to get Doug to tell me last night a little bit about the speech.
What's the mood? I mean,
the mood's just unbelievable optimism, but also deep understanding of what comes next. I mean, everybody's obviously we're focused on tonight, but we're all focused on tomorrow and the next few weeks and months.
And when we talk about prosecuting that case, that debate is coming up real quick. I mean, Philly's coming up in just a couple of weeks.
I wouldn't ever worry about her in a debate. I mean, one thing I know about her, she comes prepared in debates. Her ability to deliver a message, deliver a line, a counterpunch, a punch. Trump clearly now is becoming more prepared for this debate than he has in the past. He is preparing for this debate because he knows how ferocious she is in a debate. I think she's going to do exceptionally well in the debate.
What's your role in the next 2.5 months?
Yes.
What's your role in January if she wins?
Yes, and.
Would you accept a role in her administration?
My role in the administration is to deliver for California, deliver for more American people than any other state in the nation, besides the 21 state populations combined, to make her a success by being successful on behalf of 40 million Americans, regardless of whether or not they voted for a Democrat. We believe everybody wants to be protected, respected, and connected. Kamala Harris doesn't talk past people or down people. She wants to be a president like Joe Biden, I believe, for all Americans.
I know you're endlessly sick of this question and the speculation about your own ambitions. Are you even thinking about let's say 32?
Well, 2028, I look forward to re-electing Kamala Harris.
Why I didn't say.
In 2032, I hope to be walking without a cane.
Okay. I know you got to go. Governor, thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing the speech tonight, and I know you'll have a front row seat. Front row?
This is the benefit of being from California.
Okay. Governor, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.